And we're going.
All right.
Hello.
So, who wants to recap last time?
Fucking Sigwald. So, Sigwald Kirkland apparently has not tracked down one bastard Roy.
Who is a bastard across all realities.
Yep.
As it would seem.
His mother's name is Penelope, and her real family name on that side. Altana is like, hey, yeah, by the way, also I'm the kid of that bastard. Trying to, like, get some understanding there, as well as Good. Apparently there's someone in the same shoes as Sigwald, but Sigwald's hesitant to say. Comes up to interrupt Dren and Sigwald then comes up to interrupt Dren and Kane. Apparently he's a talk to Dren and goes, and we're looking like, what happened? Alsana finds Kane, asks to not confirm he's a Kirkland. Wasn't planning on it, but still. Talk about the mess that is all of this. Dren steps up to Kane and Alsana. And then we go get the others. We have our own little code names. Explains that Good was Dren's half brother. Wow, shocker. Who knew? But asks we give him a proper burial, and we go, yep, sure, as soon as we're done murdering the rest of them. And we're sure they're not going to bring his corpse back. Calda introduces herself as Cora. Kane is worst. Alsana is Morticia.
Alaris is Ronan.
Alaris is Nosebleed.
Nosebleed.
Apparently the one in charge of the tribes on the mirror side is Matic Boulderfist. Kane doesn't have any, doesn't really know him, but knows he's kind of a tough guy. He could probably fit the bill. None of the Nightingales seem to show up at Deep Thicket. They made it a show crossing the plains to cause a distraction. Daybreak has ways to find out where the other Nightingales are, and so does Alsana, doing some crying. Also, they have someone who can do sending. We go check in on Falarian to tell him everything's okay, and also, check in on him. If Daybreak's gonna leave, they're gonna find us. Apparently Myra is the one who can send a message. We find Falarian. There's not as much internal damage where he is, which is nice. I'm looking at the name and I'm Kivirani? Kivirani.
Yeah.
Kivirani.
I don't know why, like, seeing it written out fucked me up. Kivirani is with Falarian. We give a knock. Apparently, Roderick is also, keeping watch. Some Nightingales apparently got in and knocked him out, and then chased Kivirani out until we got to where they were and when we found them. Alsana goes and checks in on Falarian. Kivirani's sleeping on his chest and keeping him company, and it's cute. Apparently Falarian sent some people to the Deep Thicket to help out. Haven't heard about them, but we're gonna go check soon. It seems Falarian's gonna be just fine. He just needs some time to heal. Alsana gives a rundown on everything. As well as, just, whip cracks his spine just the right way so he's okay. What did I roll? Was it a 40 medicine?
Something ridiculous.
Was it 41 before guidance?
No, I think it was 40 on the dot.
It was either 40 on the dot or it was 39.
Yeah, it was like 35 or 39 or something. I got a 20. I got a 20 and the guidance on 4, so whatever. Alsana goes to deal with dead bodies. Cult is asking about Mira Osborne and burying. Alsana mentions that she can kind of hear ghosts sometimes. As they're prepping bodies for burial rites and stuff. Alaris is introduced to Mira, a wizard tiefling lady, from the Dawnbreak. She has a wand and a book. Myra is Myra brings up the thing of like, oh yeah, you're wearing a mask. There's people from 1,000 years who were wearing masks. Are you emulating them? And we go,
Not technically.
Sure.
not intentionally. Apparently she's scried on the dragon spine. And also we get the group together. Alsana lets her know that Mira Alsana can scry back. It's a good thing she hasn't done it recently.
Mm-hmm.
We're still not certain why Good was immune to scrying and shrugging things off. He just kind of it's just a thing he was doing. We'll get an autopsy soon enough. We let them know about Miraculda losing Osborne and how she might be more rational or more composed. It's gonna hit her somehow. Also, the vampire kid in the basement, who's now an orphan. Fucking orphaned a kid. Oh no.
Technically, we've done a lot of that.
Yeah, but like directly.
Technically, we've done a lot of that.
He's dead, it's fine.
Vampires don't have feelings.
No, we played that whole campaign. Yes, they do.
Not these ones. Different campaign, different setting. Apparently, to the Nightingales, the Daybreak are like a mild thorn in the side at worst. They're not about to like wipe them out or anything. They've been trying to keep it subtle as that goes. Myra brings intelligence and things that may not be found via scry as well. There may be a way into Dragon Spine. Apparently, they have a nice little plant in there. The human kind, though we will also maybe be making use of the literal kind. She goes by Celeste. She basically is working at a low position in the Dragon Spine to weasel information, and she could potentially open a gate for us, but we could also do the tree stopping. If we have a dream spell, it would help, but we don't right now. Or we could go middleman with planning the date and time, though a direct line with her would be preferable. Apparently Myra is the one who got them on the battlefield, and she has teleportation. We also let them know that, hey, we kind of talked to the Queen of Bridgewood. So we have some chess pieces. Myra heads off. We go and do things. Also checks in on the dragon and the corpses. Kane fishes. Calda helps with corpses. Also checks in on Alistair. Checking if he knows where he got the dream scroll. Either Umbarian or Soren. Kane intentionally builds a bookshelf. And it's a pretty good bookshelf. And he finds a book on sharks.
Accidentally building a bookshelf is a whole other skill.
Alsana finds a pop-up book. Also a book on oozes. A badly written book on Umbarian. And now we start rolling for books.
Genuinely, it was a great time.
Yep. After that, set up a pyre for the corpses, a larger one for the Nightingales, and another one for the keepers. Funerary rites are done. We get a spot to sleep. Alsana gives a visit to Xanthus with Alaris, and he's waiting for them. What they did, teleport to Threshold, was powerful. What they did to teleport all their people to Threshold was some hella strong magic. Apparently the Plains is growing both mighty and conceited. If we handle the rest of the Nightingales, she will be backed into a corner. Don't quite know where to go from there, but it's probably the best route to go. She's looking for a place to where the veil is thin, Threshold. And she's currently just ignoring a lot of rules that are set in the universe. Though, one she seems to be bound by, she's tethered to the mirror material, or the one we're on right now, at least. Her material self exists, and is probably guarded at the Dragon Spine. Alsana asks about the Stormgust soul. He says the soul escaping is highly unlikely, but on realization of what Yorick is, he recognizes it as a vessel for superseding some of that stuff. Lay of the Plains is probably mere Stormgust. It's the theory we've been running with for a while. She is not on this plane, but there are other places she could be hiding. Planes in between planes. How exactly do we stop her? Kill the followers, destroy the vessel. And then Xanthus makes a joke, and he immediately ends the call.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a tsundere deity.
Yep. We get a long rest.
Thank God.
Alsana gets a dream from the Chief Warden and the Stag, checking in on things. Everything is good here. Everything's good there. They seem to just wanted to cause some chaos and set some fires, but no one made it to the shrine. Beasts are eating bodies, but Deep Thicket will be burying the rest, keeping the metal equipment because I don't want to bury the metal. So we have quite a bit of an army's armory. We have first choice, but no spell scrolls. We wake up on the 14th of Harvest Dawn. Most of us are tired and sore. Kane makes a hot tub in the lake.
Best sword, I swear to God.
Calden and Alsana have a nice little moment.
I forgot about the hot tub.
Mira comes up
Kane.
to Lars again. Back off,
Kane
he's
will
married.
Back into submission.
Yeah.
What's up?
Kane also beat Cultist back into submission.
She got in contact with Celeste, and she's open to the suggestion of creating a way by scrying near a tree. Only caution she may be ascribing the day and time, so it's not suspicious. She can't exactly be seen, like, ditching her shift and walking over to a tree for no reason. So we might not be able to set the time. She would need to tell us when's a good time for her. Daybreak's going to be heading back to their base sometime during the day, and we're invited to join them. We're told to let them know if we want to come along, but then we also go, oh hey, Chief Warden, and maybe the offered equipment from Deep Thicket can partially go to the Daybreak Alliance. We could go to Deep Thicket with the crew that we're currently with and go get the stuff. And that's what we decide on. Go tell Florian and everyone that we're leaving and our plan to assault the Dragon Spine. Good luck, Florian. Oh, and Alsana sends a message to the Shining Citadel Keeper that they sent out a while back, which we ended up not needing, but now might be very helpful because they can get in contact with the guard captain and possible further contact to the Queen. We all stack up at the tree and transport via plants to Deep Thicket.
And as we pick up, all of you, plus a number of resistance fighters, charge through an enormous tree trunk into the Deep Thicket, scattering various birds that had been in the area, and drawing a fair bit of attention from the platforms upon which stand guards. There's a little flurry of movement, and then they very quickly lower their bows as they recognize at least the four of you in the front. And you hear a call out, a hail from one of them, most likely in Elvish.
Alsana will return in kind.
And you brought guests.
Alliances, they're with us.
Ah.
One's to take the metal that has been built up.
He holds up a hand. Wait here. You see him talk to his partner on guard shift, and that one hops down the tree around the other side of the trunk out of sight, and then you see him darting off through the thicket into the deeper portion where you know their town is. The first one who had been speaking to you leans back over the platform. He's going to inform the chief. You
Thank
can
you.
head in.
We'll keep an eye on them. They're under our jurisdiction. If they have any trouble, just let us know.
They certainly are. And he waves you through.
All right, and we will head in.
Alright. As you head in, even this deep in, you can smell the remaining wood smoke. The musk of fire, ash. The ground beneath your feet is actually slightly soggy and damp, likely from the storm that had been pulled in magically to douse the fires. And you recall that it was really only yesterday morning that all of that occurred. You can sort of smell just the presence of bodies of death. There are sounds in the forest of various people calling out, of various creatures grunting or shouting out in their own particular unique ways.
Sounds
Howl of
busy.
some wolves off to the side, kind of a grunt roar of a bear in another direction. Low grumbles that punctuate the background.
Do the animals sound busy? Like, are they like pulling
They
things?
sound busy, yes. They sound like they're searching through the forest.
Okay.
And as you approach the village, you start to see more open pits that had perhaps once been spiked traps being dismantled. The defenses being removed or at least moved aside for easy passage for those who are working. And at the edges of the village itself, you start to see rather neatly stacked in piles various small arms, weapons, armor pieces, more or less organized by what it is, by its type. And you see that some of those very large pits are being turned into graves for the various bodies that have been left behind and retrieved. As you enter the village, there are a few that call out to you, that call a hello, and they seem perhaps not joyous, not happy, but there's a feeling of relief, as if there was a tension that had been growing over the forest those times that you'd been here before, that has just been relieved. And when you approach the hut at the center, you actually see the Chief Warden sitting outside helping direct efforts. And she looks up at you and gives you a wave and a nod. Well, come along then. You brought us some guests, I see. I hear.
No, we might have a twofold solution for those extra arms you have lying around and the payback you're wondering on.
Ah, well, very good. We can make use of some weapons, but this is a bit excessive for us.
Shall
So,
we speak aside?
sorry, what was it?
Shall we speak aside? Often, or sorry, are we in her like office area?
Nope, you are just outside that central building.
Watch keyboard
So you're out in the open. Do you want to speak inside in private?
Yes, that's what she was asking.
Okay. In that case, the Chief Warden will nod and
Giant keyboard.
pass a list over to one of the other wardens, gesture you to follow, and head inside. As you go, Bren kind of catches one of you, perhaps by the cloak. Sorry, are the rest of us invited, or do we wait here?
I believe these will be introductions.
All right, then. He nods to his fellows, and they head inside with you.
And Just as they're walking, Dualson will catch up with the warden.
All right.
And just, for the record, they're not so keen on the flip side idea.
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up.
Oh, just making sure.
And how are the rest of you? It's been hectic. We were a mite worried when you suddenly vanished, but believed you would be all right.
But as good as you can be after smiting a dragon lich.
Honestly, I'm just glad the forest is okay. I felt bad having to leave.
As well.
The forest has some new scars, but it will grow over in time. The thing about forests and fires is that sometimes they actually encourage new growth.
Controlled burns are nice, but even so,
This was not very controlled.
yes.
Some things that cannot be so easily replaced were lost. But the whole was kept.
Anyone recognize Fall?
A few of those you worked alongside. You might remember their names, but she'll list off a few. Nobody that had been brought up by name in previous sessions.
Okay.
But in character, you would perhaps recognize that, oh, that was that one warden who laughed a lot and told a lot of jokes while they were working. There was that one warden who was a little grumpy, a little serious, just by dint of working so much with them, setting up traps and defenses, and
Also,
maybe they might not have been friends, but you would have remembered them as people.
Miss Aaron. Let's just make up random names for long lost friends.
Jimmy Johnson the third. Oh no.
He wins all the races.
Ankle and Harkness? Oh no.
Yeah, what a tragic day.
Wrestling too?
Yep. Anyhow.
This very dimension is wild.
And just nods and... Well, they have things. On to the topic at hand, though. If you lot would like to introduce yourself, this is the Chief Warden. She is a very respectable lady.
Pleasure, Miss, ma'am. We are part of the Daybreak Resistance. We are working against the Nightingales and all their forays, and especially the undead they've got running around. Not very good for the neighborhood, you know. And
I hate them.
yeah. We're not an army or anything like what you seem to have going on, but we do our best and try to mess with some supply lines and operations and whatever we can. We caught wind of the double attack, and some of us have friends up in Threshold, so you see him glance slightly towards Lily at that. We had to do something to help. That being said, I'm pretty sure that these guys had it all handled by the time we even got there.
Yeah, it still was a bit touch and go until you guys arrived.
Furthermore, as well, I believe specifically Myra here has some very juicy details about our attackers and their home base.
You see Myra shoot you a bit of a look.
She like raised an eyebrow. What?
Well, thank you for volunteering me. I have a few details, but nothing that I think is going to benefit you out here unless you plan on coming with us to do some sort of assault or attack. You see the Chief Warden shake her head slightly. No. Our Our task, our calling, is to protect this forest, this region.
The main reason I did bring them along is, well, I know you trusted us, for specifically, with those arms and armors. But if we were going to hand them off to someone else, I did want your approval on that, especially for a purpose like that.
You see her look towards the resistance one by one, look them up and down. And, you would be the leader of these? She indicates Dren. You see him kind of shuffle and shrug a little. I'm not sure about leader. We all pitch in. But you speak for them. Well, sometimes. Well, step forward. Let me have a look at you. See Dren take one very small step out of the huddle, and then a slightly longer one, so that he stands roughly 2 paces ahead. And the Chief Warden then looks him straight in the eyes for a solid 6 seconds. And then looks him up and down. And you see Dren, the longer she is silent and the more piercing her gaze is, start to get more and more uncomfortable. Until finally she looks away.
As soon as the first sweat droplet hits the ground.
She looks away. There's a very brief from Dren as his shoulders slump back down. Well, at the very least, he doesn't seem to be one to draw a knife and stab whatever he dislikes. A low bar, but a telling one. I haven't known these individuals as much as you four have. What are your thoughts, each of you?
Which four is she asking?
You, the party.
Oh, shit.
You fought alongside these?
We haven't had the longest amount of time, but from what I've
No.
seen, they're heroic, valiant, certainly
Quite
determined.
capable.
Mm-hmm.
Willing to fight for what's right.
And rather well coordinated at that, making sure their names aren't.
Morals are in the right place.
Neighborhood watch, but for undead. Excellent. Well then.
And
I believe that I will trust your judgment then. They may take the arms and armor such as they need. I believe that we've already separated out what we would be interested in keeping a hold of. Most of what is out there is about to be boxed up and carried towards whatever town we might have chosen. Barring the waiting period that I'd promised you, of course. But if you're here to gather it now, then give us a few hours and it will be prepared.
Thank you.
You can take it directly with you. Well, in that case, I should probably get some people on that, so that you have it in those few hours.
potentially.
Now, if there was anything else, do say so now.
Is there anything we can help with while we're here in those showers?
Well, there is, as you can see, a great deal to do. I believe there are still some bodies we have yet to recover.
Watch the crunching, John.
Oh fuck, I forgot.
Lars just opens a fucking bag of chips in the middle of the meal.
I'm sorry, I was eating my rations. I'm hungry.
Are those corn nuts?
And if you stay
Yeah, you
those
would like
few
some?
hours, then we will be glad to give you some dinner.
There's
Oh,
loud crunching in the side of the room.
Uh,
I'm sorry, I got hungry. I cracked open the rations.
yep. Okay. um, yeah, basically there's a few areas where they haven't collected bodies yet, where they haven't, dragged them in, cataloged everything, taken everything, and done burials. There is plenty of work to do. There's also actually sorting through those things that are in those piles further and like packaging them up for transports because let's face it, much easier to carry a large crate of knives and swords than to try to grab an armful.
that's fair.
So, yeah, any amount of busy work, most of it fairly physical.
All right. Kane spits on the two hands. Gets Caldo to stay nearby because, yeah. He also just reminds everyone that, like, okay, in the forest, we really need to stay near each other with the lamp. Any tree could be a problem. Actually, should we even fucking help? I really don't want also marching in here.
She's already seen it here.
Probably. Alright, well, let's get to going. Pretend like we don't know what happened. Because, well, as far as we know, none of theirs went back, so. Although I'm sure she can summon spirits if she needs to.
All right. So, you guys spend some hours keeping close together and helping out with whatever you would like, whatever you could. They can use the aid in any area, so they don't necessarily have a preference. But between the bodies and the heavy work, pretty much they are one and the same. There's pretty much going out into the forest and scouring the area for any remains that, well, remain intact enough to drag back. Or there's clearing and burying those that have been dragged back. There's kind of two work parties as far as that's concerned. Or there's packing up the weapons and armor that had already been pulled off.
Alright.
We could probably find like an in between of like, bring some of the bodies, like taking the stuff off them and then packing it up.
Mhm.
Like
If you want,
like
you
in the
can
middle of that like process line.
maybe an hour in one area, an hour in another, and then an hour in the last.
Oh,
Did I-
I'll just check it out.
Did I stuff that general in my bag? I think I did.
Which general?
Yeah. Hold on. I pull her out of the bag.
Therastra. Yeah, Therastra's body is in the bag. You are 3 bodies in the bag of humanoids, as far as I can remember. But I think you do have assorted bits of, what was it? The skulk from Soren Wood long, long
No,
ago.
we gave that to Morticia.
We got rid of. Yeah, we
You
gave
did.
that one to Morticia. She had a dancing sword, right?
She did. However, you did not pick that up.
Oh, I could just want to grab both those. Okay.
That one
thought
fell
I-
across. It fell across the battlefield, and I think maybe you did.
I thought I mentioned it because where it fell was
Okay.
like between us and the tree.
Okay, in that case, you probably did pick it up. I could have sworn it was something where it fell across and you skedaddled out of there too fast to grab it.
I think that was the other body I wanted.
Okay.
Also,
Because
I'll
I
just-
know that.
Hold on. I have this literally on my sheet.
Oh, okay. Yes, you do have a dancing sword on you, but it does require attunement, if I am recalling correctly.
Okay, so it is just a dancing sword then. Cool.
Yes, it is a simple dancing sword. Nothing special. Nothing homebrewed.
Also, we'll just look at the body for a bit.
Okay. It's been a while since you've seen your friend on your side. You're not quite sure what she's come to look like, but yeah, you could imagine the features that you remember growing up into something like this.
We'll do our best to just kind of remember them a bit better.
Yeah, it's not easy. You don't know how much of it you're projecting or imagining, but well, you've already seen mirrors of yourselves, of others you know and recognize. It's probably a pretty close map.
Yep. Yeah. And Alsana might just be like slightly, almost like fixing her hair when like called to ask that. She's like, oh yeah, a familiar face. I mean, wasn't completely unexpected.
No.
If she grew up in the same spot as us, then her getting some sort of connection to my other side.
Out of curiosity, would Kane recognize this person?
Yeah, this was somebody in Tanager, somebody who you knew was a friend of Alsana's in childhood.
Alright. I assume Kane's nearby because he had the body.
Oh yeah, it's your bag. It's you pulled that out.
You
If
might
you're
have taken a
taking
second to notice.
if you're taking stock of anything on her at the same time, she's wearing full plate armor. You know she has a helmet. To maybe you stuffed it in the bag as well, just so that the set is complete. She had the dancing longsword. She had another longsword at her side. Um, she has a short bow and a number of arrows, some of which are bundled separately from the rest of the quiver.
Kane will just separate those out, but not worry about it right now.
Hmm.
Also, will prepare the body. She'd also like to just keep an eye out, because Calder was as well for Oz's body.
Okay. So if you go and return to that area, the fires had reached there. The trees are blackened, but you can tell some of them are still alive underneath the soot and the ash. They got scorched at the edges, but the heartwood lived. Others, however, burned to a cinder. It's a somewhat bleak and desolate landscape, and it's almost jarring stepping from still verdant, still living, maybe just barely starting to turn into fall forest, into just black, sooty ash and bare trees. It's almost as if there's a line drawn across the forest near this edge. But you search around the area, it doesn't look like any bodies are left in this area right now. It looks like it's already been cleared out. It's quiet here. Animals don't seem to be hanging out where the fire touched too close. At least not most of them.
Also, will listen a bit closer if she can.
In the distance, back the way you came, you hear some rustling, some life, some birdsong, but beyond listening, you do hear more humanoid whispering, more of that cadence, where before the background noise of the spirit of the place collectively had been a lot more animalistic, a lot more natural in that way. Now it's overlaid by a bit louder, a bit newer and fresher. The ebb and flow of whispering, of voices overlapping, a bit distant, just on that edge of hearing where you can't quite make out what's being said, but you know it's there. In time.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Go ahead, Kane.
Ken just kind of looks over the collection of bodies he has and check to make sure I'm not forgetting any one that I have in my bag. And just, well,
Just to
Go
check,
ahead.
do you guys want to try to loot any of those bodies? Because you guys haven't asked.
I was assuming anything very obvious off the body would be told us. So there was the short bow, the 2 quivers, the. Do we have a detect magic anywhere that we can use?
Alsana,
That is the question.
double check.
We got the wand that does it, right? And you can't. Cat. Oh, I just caught him. Hello, dear. Can just grab like the nearest vaguely magical looking person who's not in the party and just. Can you ping magic? Just like look for it.
It's probably Myra. Who's, let's see. Just, I don't have much in the way of spell slots left, but I could do it a few times
Can you just do it
and still
once
be able
and-
to transport us. Once sweeping on these that you pulled from your bag.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
Detect magic is ritual. If she can ritual cast.
Ah! Actually, I believe she probably could because she is a little more wizard-based. Thank you for checking that. In that case, yeah. She'll pull out her book and just... I'll need about 10 minutes. And she'll sit down and start going back and forth in the book, grab a stick and start drawing sigils in the ashen loam, and muttering to herself.
And once it's done, he'll just present the body.
Now, is it Therastra's body? Good's body? Both?
Also, oh, I forgot I had good. Yeah, I'll do both.
You do have Good.
I forgot that I had him.
Yep. I believe you did take his sword,
Yes.
but yeah.
Oh, I forgot to write it down though, so I'm gonna write that down now.
Okay.
Oh no, I have the actual stats for it written down. That's why.
Okay. So, 10 minutes later, give or take a few seconds, you see Myra glance towards you, kind of wince and look away, and examine the 2 bodies there. And she starts pointing first at Therastra, and she says, "That armor, it shines. No specific school of magic, just magical.
Kane is already slicing the straps.
That sword on her, also magical.
The longsword.
The longsword that is on her, not the dancing sword.
All right.
Nothing else. Oh,
Not this. The arrows don't.
she looks them over. Nothing magical.
Kane will take a few and look for poison.
Then she looks towards Good. The amulet around his neck, and the bracers on his arms. Nothing else.
Alsana on a hunch is gonna grab that amulet.
Yep.
She's gonna do her casting of Identify for the day.
Okay. You identify this as an amulet of proof against detection and location.
Knew it.
Fucking knew. God damn it. Let's add that to the bag as its own thing now that we know what it is.
Alsana gives a smile. Should I maybe take this? It would
Well,
I mean,
basically remove her counter.
yeah, probably. Unless you want to basically put it on whoever is most likely to get scryed on.
That as well, but like I said, likely me if I'm going to be checking in on her, but it would also allow me the freedom to do so more easily.
Yeah, I'll trust your judgment. Just let me know.
Out of character, is it attunement?
Oh, let me check the book. It's been a while since I put this on here. It's been a very long while. I believe it is, but I want to double check before I say so because it might not be. Hold on. Amulet of Proof requires attunement.
Okay.
I want to play an artificer just to have those like 6 attunement slots so bad.
Yeah, those 3 slots are hard to work around sometimes.
Yep, I'll have to consider on this, but I'll definitely keep it on me for now.
It takes time to focus on anyways, right? Yeah, so.
She just throws it in her pocket.
Well, Myrna stands up, closes her book, puts it away. If you need me to research anything else or detect anything else, let me know.
You can't identify, can you?
I didn't prepare that today.
Okay. If we're still around tomorrow, then we'll request it from you probably. I doubt we'll get all this done in one day.
I believe I could do that.
So also real quick, while Good is out, Asana wants to do a medicine check on him. She wants to see if there's anything physical that explains why he was just shrugging off everything.
Okay. As for Ty question, I think I maybe messed up. It's supposed to be Myra, but I might have done a mouth fumble. Okay, medicine check on Good. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and make that roll.
Give her guidance too. .22.
Okay. Well, let's see. He is very strong, very well built. As for the shrugging things off, you don't come across anything that has a very obvious physical sign. You don't come across anything that's outright like, I don't know, runes inscribed on him or anything. It seems that this might just be one of those really weird things where sometimes a creature has abilities outside the norm. Or maybe it was something that was created or enhanced by either the shrines you know they took, by the knowledge that you know they stole, or maybe by the Lady of the Plains.
Well, always autopsies later, I suppose. And she throws them back in the bag.
Yeah. Your friend
Also
I assume
takes
you
the
want...
bracers off.
Yeah, I assume you want to bury your friend, right?
Keep her for now.
By the way, Kane, from earlier, go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Oh, okay.
You were checking arrows for poison.
Not investigation, same thing, whatever. Yeah. It's Kane.
Yeah. You kind of give him a sniff and consider licking them for an instant before you decide against it.
Kane, what are you doing?
They've got a little bit of a funny smell, but you're not sure.
Trying to see if this is poisonous. Hold on,
Give me that.
how many arrows are in the lesser of the 2 quivers?
10.
10?
Give me that. Do not lick it.
I'm not gonna. Well, okay, I was gonna lick it. Not gonna lie to you. Come on, just let me lick it. If it's too bad, you can heal me.
No, I'm not. I'm not wasting my magic on stupidity today.
Ugh, fine.
Asana would like to make an alchemy check on these.
Okay. Go ahead and make that roll with your proficiency bonus using intelligence, please.
Alright.
37.
Alright.
Draw poison arrows.
She turns it in her hands like, oh, that makes sense. She looks at it and is like, Kane, this would have knocked you the fuck out.
Oh, I could have gotten a nap. Fucking finally. Also, most poison is a very difficult time taking hold of me.
The right hand like grips down on it, and the left hand like slowly pushes it down. No.
What? What? You gonna hurt me because I don't want to hurt myself? Anyway,
Nothing. By the way, is it 13 or 16?
Oh, It should be a 13. I'm assuming that the 16 came from something else on her sheet trying to auto.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just gonna copy that over in that case to my sheet. Because I kind of looked to Alaris like, you don't need arrows, right?
Not particularly. Why?
Take them.
Hold
I
up,
can always
poisoner.
poison his bolts if he needs them poisoned, which you people never seem
I'm
to
not
want to
big on
use.
poison.
It
Yes,
takes a
I've
lot
noticed.
of time to poison.
No.
Also, when I can stab someone 3 times in the chest, it's usually a bit more effective than poison.
I have paralysis poison.
Why haven't you given me that?
I have
When?
before. You should have chill poison in your inventory.
Let's see.
In your bag.
I've got Naga poison, that's it.
Who did I give chill poison to?
Probably Lars.
Oh, did you have, you have
No.
chill poison?
No.
I have 6
I need
vials
chill
of the
poison.
stuff still.
Fucking give us some!
Here, take it. Fuck.
I'll take, remember 2 each?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, 2 each. DC 13. Poison
Can
for
you
1 minute until the poison ends. The target is paralyzed.
Are you able to click what that does, or just went copy paste?
Just said it, but okay.
I just don't need a copy and paste one I can do. Because I'm adding a lot of stuff to my sheet right now.
Yeah.
Alright, and chill poison. Okay, and just looks like, well, poison seems useful. Why didn't you tell me we had these?
Face bomb.
He just kind of like friendly punch on the shoulder, very much holding back so as not to shatter her. And then just, all right.
I also have these
Any-
potions of damage reduction.
Ooh. I mean, I reduce most damage.
No, it's a -3 reduction.
Oh. When the fuck did you make all these? Like seriously, like how long have you had these?
A while. I also have a filter of love, for Christ's sakes.
We don't know what your sheet has.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
I still have 2 more vials of Guardian Naga and 2 more vials of Spirit Naga that you guys haven't used. I have the
I've
good
got-
tracking potion that's useless now.
What? Okay, you can't blame us for that one. That one never came up. To be fair, we found good by accident.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Could you use it to find me once? Oh, hold on. If he goes back to life, that would be very useful, actually.
Yes, I could use it to find you, and then I will want to kill you for 1d4 hours.
So, no effect then.
Hey.
All right. Any other potions you want to mention that you have by chance?
Did you guys have the Dust Spell Salve?
No,
I know I gave you the Dust Spell Salve.
I don't have it on my sheet. What do you want me to say?
Oh my god, there's probably just like a cacophony of like missing inventory.
I keep very close track because I have the thing. And sorry, how many of the chill poison each do we get? I forget.
Two.
One, two. Okay.
Very close.
I'm adding a lot to my sheet right now. Given.
Alright, each of you take one. It's Dust Spell Salve. It does the Dust Spell effect. You can put it on your weapons. And it makes sure nothing can be revived. If you
cool.
stab them with it.
Does it have like a lasting, like a duration, or is it just
It
It
just
goes.
does it to the corpse. Same as a Dust Spell would.
cool?
I have 3 potions of poison immunity and poison damage and condition immunity for 1 hour.
You guys might find more use that than I do.
I have 3 vials of giant snake poison.
Is that not the Naga?
No,
It's just
Oh,
a
that-
giant snake.
the giant snakes we fought at the giant snake rodeo at the
Oh,
the
right.
shrine in freaking swamp.
I'm gonna use so many of these.
A
I've,
small huddle of resistance members are just standing off to the side watching this.
I've,
Fascinating people.
I have a potion of invisibility. I have a potion of lightning resistance. I have
get
oil-
Lightning one to call.
I have oil of slipperiness.
Why?
Why not?
Fair enough.
Why would you need to be slippery?
I have aboleth mucus, which gives you exclusive water breathing for 1 hour.
Oh, that seems cruel and unusual. Hold on, can I have that one?
You can have one.
I feel like that'd be very distracting to the
One.
You see
Okay.
Dren over on the side slightly raise his hand. If the rest of you don't want some of those, I'm pretty sure we could use some.
Nods. Here, and she'll pass, one Guardian Naga and one Spirit Naga,
Okay.
one Giant Snake.
Go ahead and give them all the giant snakes. We have a lot of other poisons.
Yeah, no, I'll give them the Green Dragon. Because it's only DC 12.
Really? Oh, because it was the armor dragon. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And she goes, Guardian Naga, Spirit Naga, Giant Snake, Green Dragon, Wormling.
Where did you come across all of these?
We killed them.
Well then.
Did we kill the Naga twice? No, we only
No,
killed
there were
one,
two
right?
Nagas.
Okay,
There
but I
were
remember
two
we came back to life.
Nagas, yeah.
I couldn't remember if I couldn't remember if we came back and killed them. a
No,
second time.
we'd given them to you know we'd given them to Alsana's girlfriend, and then
Sorry, you
And
gave
then
them
they
to
disappeared.
whose girlfriend?
Okay,
Just
no,
until we-
that was out of
That
character.
was-
Yeah, okay.
Just assume we're
Okay.
using the synonyms.
I use the fake name when I say the
Yep.
Don't assume that
Morticia's
our
girlfriend.
our players dumb of asses are our own characters.
what was Devin? What was Alsana's fake name again?
Morticia.
Morticia.
Morticia. Morticia, we took it to your girlfriend, and then it disappeared.
Uh,
Okay, as long as we didn't get that twice. Okay. Any other random magic items you might have on hand? Can we just do a roll call real fast?
not particular, but also, hey, hey, Dren, how's your dental?
Hate that
Um,
sentence.
Pretty good, actually.
Okay,
We've got
just
some
wondering.
people back home who, yeah, pretty good.
I know there's a problem with that with orc sometimes, with lack of institution.
Oh yeah, it's the underbite. Apparently, it causes some complications sometimes. Anyway, I've had that fully checked out, so should be good.
Yep. I have a Black Rocks candle that casts darkness in a 15-foot square and can be snuffed as an action. It has 45 minutes out of the total 1 hour burn time. I have a small silver bell that allows you to cast Toll the Dead DC 14 for 2d8.
Sorry, what was that one again?
A small silver bell that can cast Toll the Dead, but it can use it one time of day and a cumulative 10% chance to shatter if used after that.
What's the DC? Sorry, That's 16, you said?
DC 14.
14.
Yeah, it's an action, so.
I mean, now that I have the quick swap, not super useful, but a bit ago that would have been great.
You've
Um,
got a wand of wonder that has never been used.
I do.
Okay,
My goodness.
is that one just Wild Magic Surge?
Kinda. It's
Can
a
we just-
modified wild magic surge.
Can Kane just just for fun, guys? Can Kane just pull that out of the bag and just be like, "What does this do?" And just use the wand.
He doesn't have the spellcasting ability to.
Oh, okay. He just waves it, nothing happens.
And she goes, "Don't you?" And she grabs it.
Come on, live a little.
That is a
Required-
highly volatile magic item.
Requires attunement by a spellcaster, unfortunately.
Requires attunement. No.
Mhm.
He just sighs and, well, I'm gonna go try to equip this new armor. Hold on. Kane's going to take just a small dagger and just press it into the edge of one of the armor pieces. Does it cut any worse or better than a normal piece of armor would? It's plate mail, right?
It is full plate. It's magical, so I'm gonna say sawing at the straps doesn't do anything. You do have
Okay.
to unbuckle it.
Yeah, but I mean, when he takes it off, against the metal, is it immediately magical despite the fact the creature is dead, or no?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to require attunement. It's just something that has magic kind of crafted into it.
Oh, in that case, Kane's gonna spend 10 minutes just getting it ready to quick swap.
Okay.
Does anyone want the potion of lightning resistance?
You've got a set of
Give that to
+2 plate
Calda.
mail.
+2?
+2.
I look at Calda. You don't have magical armor, do you?
Calda does. Remember? It's the psychic
I don't.
resistance armor you took off Corbin.
That's why we kidnapped the man.
Boulder parchment shears.
Force
Oh,
resist.
resist.
My bad. Yes, he did psychic
Uh,
damage and resisted force.
Should we flip a coin to see who gets which one? Do you have a preference which one? With a shield, it is 20.
Should probably put it on Calder because Calder doesn't have a shield.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. Okay. Yep. In that case, Kane will equip the force resist armor instead.
Okay.
Because honestly, resistance on someone with more health is better because it's technically more health.
Yeah. No, that's why I checked. Because I'd rather Calda stay alive because I can take hits. Also, I get hit by force weirdly often.
Mm. So either Calda or I'd say either Calda or Kane should take the lightning resistance, only because then I could potentially just, if I need to, get you in range for call lightning.
Again, give it to Calda. I have significantly more health, second wind, and if I die once, I can just ignore it. Yeah, let me just add plate mail to my sheet, and Kane's gonna just take the long sword and first ask one of the druids, ask one of the elven people here if they will be offended if I swing it at a tree to see how effective it is.
Alsana will say just don't.
I just want to see how.
We'd rather you didn't.
Is there something I can swing this at to see if it's magical, or if it requires attunement?
I can just give me a look at it.
Well, I know it's magical. I just want to know if it's magical without attunement.
Can Alsana do an Arcana check to see if this thing needs attunement?
Also-
Go ahead and roll that Arcana.
Also, Calda take lightning resistance, right? It just makes more sense.
30.
Yeah, just take lightning resistance potions. You get hit by that kind of stuff more than I do.
All right. It does require attunement.
Alsana nods.
Well, let me figure out what it does first, and he'll take an hour just attuning to it.
Alsana thinks to herself, like, Xanthus, do you want to give us extra attunement slots?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Xanthus is like, not my jurisdiction.
Kane kicks through down the door. Whose is it? I want 6 swords.
Can you transfer us to the magic items department?
No. Don't call this number again.
No.
Seriously. This was the sword. It is a +2 sword. She would have been wielding it two-handed, hence the 1d10. And yeah, pretty much she either never got the chance to use it, or it didn't end up working.
Oh, it heals? Oh, fuck yeah, I'm taking that. Holy shit.
As long as they fail to save.
Yeah, unless Calda, you have an alternate weapon slot that you want for healing. But passive healing on Kane could be really nice.
Also kind of looks at that thing and just like,
And the +2 is not attunement, no.
Yeah, the +2 plate is normal.
Alsana glances at that sword and just like, wonder what I've done here. I'm destroying this thing.
You can't let me keep one cool thing.
She like makes a point. Look, keep anything we find here.
And at least we'll believe the sword, if you remember what I mean.
Again, this one I say I just want to remove it.
If it helps, Soul Taker was just a dramatic name she gave to it. It doesn't actually take apart anybody's soul.
Yeah, she don't like the
It feels
necrotic
life
damage.
force. Okay. Just checking. to
Necrotic
make
means
sure.
a lot of things, though, regardless.
Mhm.
I also already have a vampiric weapon, like,
Yeah.
but I can only do it once.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I'm just actually going to straight up request this one goes on Kane, just because I have a free weapon attunement slot, and Kane hitting 3 times per turn with this could be really nice. Yeah, because if I switch off the stunning whip, I can take this instead. and or if I take off the short bow, because I'm only attuned to weapons right now. Alright, so I'm just gonna do that. In a second about that, I'm gonna go through a bunch of magic items that I just checked on my sheet. Because I also have those, just in case we want to swap those around.
I could unattune from my unicorn horn, potentially.
To attune what?
To attune to the amulet. Because
Uh,
because I can still use it as spellcasting focus. It's still +1. It's just the thing is I don't get those free like pass without trace or the like once a day dispel good and evil, which I have never gotten a chance to actually use. It's always like, oh, I can use dispel good and evil, and then like it's like, oh, the thing's like I've prepped it, I'm about to stab it, I miss, or the thing's dead.
Yeah. And sorry, Ariel, this is a longsword, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Which does make
I
it
don't see.
versatile, so keep track of whether you're using one-handed or two.
Can't fucking eat that.
Sorry, I'm just scrolling through
Um,
things on my sheet right now. Ariel, who is Hardbeck Runeheim?
Harbeck Runeheim?
Yeah,
Could you send me the spelling?
I don't know if my spelling is right.
Harbeck Runeheim.
Runeheim.
Runeheim. Oh Jesus, that's a name.
That's not one I recognize. Hold on.
Control F. Select all. Excuse me. Oh, this actually might be more useful than the.
Oh, that's from before we got York.
Really?
Because it's
Okay.
because
Oh, I'll bet it was one of the people in that shrine. The
yes,
Wayne Water
yeah,
Wolf.
no, it was the lady. It was the lady.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
what do you
that's-
have of theirs?
Nothing. I just have their name down in like my notes, and I'm just like, I have no idea who this is.
Ah, okay.
Like,
Oh,
like I
she's
know,
not a-
like I'm like, okay, no, I know Nettie. I know like Taniel the Deceitful. What else we got here? Cyrillith of the Impenetrable Scales. That's the demon lady I'm working with.
hate that. All right. Sorry. I'm just
Gromit
gonna-
Whitmaker. That's the guy who I know where he lives.
Oh boy.
Totally not ominous at all.
Oh, Harbeck was the dwarf merchant supplier who went missing, and you took his glasses because you found his
Oh,
remains
no.
in the harpy net.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh God, you stole his glasses?
yeah. Those are
Shit.
ones that give
He
me
wasn't
advantage on
using them
investigation.
anymore. For curiosity, the way I have it written in my scrawled post-it notes is that.
Okay.
Oh, what did Calder find?
We're just looking through notes this session and figuring things out.
Just anything we forgot.
First day of Harvest Dawn was Halloween? Wait, was that the beginning of the campaign?
Now, the first of Harvest Dawn was when you guys actually went across into Threshold. It is the 14th of Harvest
Oh,
Dawn in
fuck.
game right now. You've been here for 2 weeks.
I've been falling for half an hour!
So, with that in mind, as
been falling for 20 minutes!
Oh, John, you peaked your mic so hard there. It was impressive, but
I'm sorry.
that's okay. Just
I don't have a
Wait,
pop filter. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
I
Look
don't
at
know
that
what
so anyhow, yeah, you guys re-divvy up some of your loot and add to it as you realize that there are some things on these bodies that may be of use. As for other bodies, maybe you help clear up another area that hasn't already been gotten to.
Actually, no. Are they burning bodies at all here? Or-
They're not burning, they're burying.
Okay, yep. Then Alsana will have them keep her friend in the bag.
Okay. So Therastra is back in the bag then?
Yep. Because that seems
Alright.
like an easy. Alsana is like, no.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything close to their same relationship.
Kane
Okay.
is actually going to, for the first time since he got it, unattuned to the rod.
Oh.
Because this sword is actually just straight up better. Unless the creature has really high constitution modifier.
Alright.
Which I mean isn't too uncommon, but
Yeah, no, I know, but passive healing is way better than 1 extra d6 of damage dice.
well, there's also like stunning, isn't there? Or no, it's
It's-
frightening, isn't it?
There's a frighten, there's a stun, a paralyze, and a drain life. I was talking about the fire sword, to be clear. It was extra 1d6.
Oh, okay.
But those are each just once a day. And the DCs are like 15.
Mhm.
So I no longer have the Hellbird. Oh, it's so weird not being attuned to that. Alright. Yeah, sorry, go ahead and continue.
Okay. So, you are able to help with various preparations, with various moving of bodies and equipment. And after a few hours of doing so, you have a number of crates of basic weapons and armor packaged up and ready to be carried.
Alright. Well then. Where next? You start
At
using the
that
spy?
point, Myra steps up and says, "Well, next, we're going home.
Makes sense.
If you're ready, everybody who can lift one, grab a crate. Some of us may have to lift between us. And I, unfortunately, am going to need both hands free." As she starts to take a long stick and inscribe on the ground a circle. So, everybody gathers up what they can carry. You draw together in the circle. The Chief Warden has come out to see you off, but without words. She simply watches and gives you a smile if you look her way, and a nod.
And well, actually, while she's there, and she'll just look to the like 4 guests and just also of note, you do not tell anyone about what you saw here, right? Other than you got gifts from the kind people within this area.
Sure. Easy enough to believe that something like Tanager might not have much use for such things, and yeah. Lily looks over and kind of grins. "Don't worry. I think that we know a little thing or two about keeping a little secret."
Also, like, right.
So, you ready, Mira? Mirna?
Alsana bites her tongue, feeble-minded little bitch.
As I can't keep track of my own characters' names. As Myra finishes up.
Moira.
It's just Myra. I keep trying to put an N in there. As Myra finishes up the circle. Okay. As you guys circle up, and with a shout of a few magic words and a sharp gesture, space around you twists, turns, and pops. And you find yourself standing not in a forest glade, but in a cavern. It's not quiet. You can hear voices all around, and you hear calls out as The arrival has garnered some attention as some people shout, "Hey, they're back!" and start to call back and forth between the group and others there, and you hear a few people point out that they brought some people. They brought some things. What are in those? Supplies? Um, Dren and Myra, Sigmund, and Lily start to move out among the people, grinning, smiling, calling out to people they recognize, and after a little bit, Dren sets down the crate, climbs up on top of it, claps his hands until there's relative quiet, and calls out, "Well, we made it back alive!" And there's some shouts and cheers. He holds up a hand for quiet. "You'd be glad to know Threshold is intact. We were given some very nice gifts and made some new friends." Thumbs over his shoulder at the four of you. Don't ask about the masks. It's a religious thing. But these are Morticia, Cora, Wurst, and Ronan. And they're going to help us bring down the rest of the Nightingales. And when I say the rest, I mean they've already brought down 2. We've got a chance, people. Let's show them what we can do. He jumps down from the crate, and there's a little bit of silence, and then just, "Yeah!" that gets picked up and echoed. And it does echo. You can hear the shouts kind of ringing fainter and fainter as it goes out. As you take in the area,
As like the crowd's cheering, does, Alaris does like the awkward thing of like huzzah and such, like awkwardly like pumps his fist like huzzah and such.
yep, as you pick up on the fact that you're not just in a cavern, you're in a something of a cave system. You can see in the walls tunnels curving out into various directions. You arrived on a not carved in teleportation circle, but one of chalk that looks like it's been at least frequently renewed. And there are a few crates on near the walls and barrels here and there. It looks more like a combination transport hub and storeroom for them. You can see various wooden beams shoring up the walls and ceilings of certain tunnels. They're all rather warmly lit, as it seems that they've made use of a number of lanterns and lamps, perhaps even some mage lights to illuminate their area. As Dren steps down and starts to usher you through the crowd, pushing people back like, come on, give them some room. Gotta give them some rooms here. He turns at one of the entrances to the tunnels and says, "Well, welcome to the Daybreak Resistance, where we are about as underground as it gets."
I thought you were exaggerating a bit.
We should stay as far away from as many people as possible. As much as possible. They can scry on us. I don't want them catching you guys in the crossfire.
Right.
I don't want them finding out where you are.
Okay, that might make some living arrangements.
Just give us
We'll
the blank wood stone room.
We'll figure it out.
I
can
can have my
think
own
of-
it if we need to.
That's also true.
Just give me a day.
might have an idea for that. Do you guys scare easy?
I mean, like, a little bit, but, like, not the way you're thinking.
How about we get specific?
There's superstitions, ghost stories. Myra already looked into it. There is absolutely nothing supernatural going on, but sometimes the deeper cave systems make people nervous. We tend to use them more for deep storage or overflow or anything miscellaneous that might come up. Nobody really keeps themselves back there. You'd have privacy, if that's what you're needing, and you'd definitely be a bit further back from, well, the bulk of all of us.
I think that will work just fine.
Yeah.
Besides, if there is anything there, I'll have a nice conversation with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry that much. again, Myra looked into it. We made sure to shore up the walls. Pretty sure most of the superstitions were, what was it again, Myra? Avalanches, rock slides. Myra kind of scoots through the hall as you are being led down some tunnels, and gives you a nod. And yes, most of the old wives' tales are from generations ago and detail missing persons and how the ghosts of the mountains ate them.
Ghosts of the mountains.
I already looked into it. I scoured the area, and aside from the usual smattering of lightly magical plants and creatures that you might expect to find, nothing ghostly, supernatural, undead, or anything of the variety. However, the area is known to be somewhat treacherous. There are occasional rock slides, there are occasional sudden drops that become even more sudden as a cliff ledge crumbles. It's very likely that most of those disappearances were simply people who went out into the mountains and met a bit of misfortune, never returned, and, well, people
Speaking of
just tell
which,
stories.
mountains. If you had to point to us on a map,
Technically, we're over the border of Galgaea. Not on the Dragon Spine, we're not that close.
Redstone Peaks.
You're familiar? Yes, Redstone Peaks. Though, if you're likely to be scryed on, I would ask that you keep that information unsaid.
Nods. Just if we have to get here more traditionally for whatever reason.
Well, aim for Karad, and then go south.
Sounds good. Well then, it at least won't be too far of a march towards the Dragon Spine, but
Well, I don't imagine you were planning on going via traditional means, as you put it. That being said, yes, we're not in a terrible staging ground for a resistance. Not ideal, but it keeps us hidden and safe.
are you going to contact the Farewell at all?
Oh, no. Heavens, no. We have a few individuals in the area, and a few who didn't like the decisions that were made, and so came to us. But,
For the most part,
you-
they're a bit too, related.
they decided very early on that they wanted absolutely no trouble of the sort they saw brewing, and rather than resist, they gave in before it even came to a fight. I suppose it made them safer. Veravale hasn't suffered the, let's say, political upset that Tombarion and Pridwen did. They haven't been struggling as Azora has. Still, we can't expect help from that quarter. Anyhow, these would be the rooms I believe Dren was referring to. And she gestures towards, again, fairly well-lit tunnels, well shored with beams and cross pieces. It looks like they went to a lot of effort to make sure that this place stayed relatively safe and free of collapses. You see some open rooms, fairly bare. There's a few crates in there, and Dren kind of goes, we can finish out something in the way of bedding. I can't say that we've got furniture per se. Most of us just kind of,
Subsist.
piled some sacks and furs down on the ground, and you don't really notice that much.
We have some sleeping bags as well.
We'll still try and make things a little more comfortable. I'm pretty sure that we can spare a bit from hunting and supplies. Anyhow, if you're willing to eat with the rest of us, dinner should be just about cooked. We tend to go with a lot of stock soups and stews, things that are easy to make in one big pot and then dole out servings. If you'd rather eat on your own and avoid the scrying thing, I can send somebody to bring it in. Sigwald from piping up from behind, where he'd kind of been trailing along, goes, "I'll bring it. I don't mind. Besides, if there was ever a peek in on us during all of today, then we could assume that any of us might have been seen." Right. Sig will bring you some food, and, well, we'll make this place a little more comfortable, maybe.
I think that sounds good.
Right. Well, I'd
Yeah,
better
yeah.
go and make sure that they aren't completely decimating our system of crates. Sig will be back with food in a little bit. Myra goes, "I'll bring them some torches and other supplies. You guys go ahead and settle in as best you can. Just be prepared to move those sleeping bags if you unroll them."
Sure.
They will
And,
not.
again, appreciated for everything you guys have done, and just for generally resisting.
We're doing our best. Thank you guys for cutting down our problems by half, from what it seems.
Happy to do it.
Well, we'll be back to talk when more things come up. That he turns and walks away, and the others go with him. You're left pretty much alone in a simple system of tunnels. Not too difficult to find your way back the way you came. The rooms that you were shown to, there's at least a couple of them. They kind of are rough in size. It looks like they were originally fairly natural cavern systems that then got carved out. Some of the carving was fairly smooth, perhaps assisted at least by magic. But for all that, it's a somewhat barren space, broken up a little bit by the beams and rafters. But without anything in the way of personal touches that would indicate anything like living quarters. It's somewhat dim inside the rooms. The light from the hall filters in through open doorways. It doesn't look like they have fitted doors or even curtains up at the moment.
Alsana is real quick going to sit down and do a ritual of commune with nature.
Okay. 10-minute casting?
Mhm.
Or is it 11? Okay.
11.
Okay. So Alsana is sitting down and concentrating on the nature of the area. Is anybody else doing anything in those 11 minutes?
Kane's just still messing with his attunements and blinking, like snapping abilities to him.
Okay. So Kane's sitting down and doing similar quiet, busy tasks. Quick checks. Okay, yeah. Mori goes winging off down the hallways for about an 100-foot radius around you, Alsana. I am thinking of one character doing one thing and another character doing another and mixing them up in my mouth. Sorry. Calda. 100-foot radius, you pretty much get a Mori mental map of the tunnels and nearby rooms. It seems that, true to what Dren and the others were saying, this part of the cave system is relatively untrod. You occasionally, through Mori, would get a glimpse of some people coming out in and out on the fringes or passing by in more generally traversed tunnels where this one hooks up with the rest of the main network. But you've got a pretty good idea of this general area and the layout thereof, so you in particular are going to know your way back to like the main hubs of activity. Moria will then cuddle up on top of Alsana's head. Alsana, about 9 minutes into your ritual, you feel a little owl prick, 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 little claws on your scalp, and then this very soft, light weight settle down.
Yep, and she just still concentrating. One hand goes pat pat. One celestial.
Two
Right.
Celestials. Ah,
John is muted, so if Alaris is up to anything, let me know.
Not really.
Okay.
right. Kane is actually just on top of doing this, just sorting out the bag, and everyone will hand stuff to Alaris to carry. Just like, hold on to this for a second.
Yep.
Okay.
No problem.
'Cause I'm
Quick
actually
remind
posting a ton of
me.
stuff for the sheet.
Quick remind me. What is everybody's passive perception?
Oh, come on. 16.
21.
Okay. 21. I think is Calda's up there as well. Maury's is 18. Okay. Advantage. And Alaris, what's your passive perception?
Let me check. Actually, my passive perception.
Were you the one who was 20?
Well, I have a +6 perception.
Ah, you're
And
16.
then +5 from the advantage site, if it's site based.
Yeah.
It is not sight-based.
Okay, so 16.
In that
Okay.
case, Mori, unless it's hearing, is also 13.
Yep, Maury would still get his advantage. Alright. Yep. Calda, you, Maury aside, you remain fairly oblivious for a little while to this. Alsana, you're trying to concentrate on your spell, but there's this persistent nagging feeling that is a little hard to shake. I'd say that you're good enough at concentrating on magic in various circumstances that you're able to push through it. You're still doing your ritual spell, no problem there. But you're aware of something, like, in the back of your mind that's just. It's an unsettling feeling. Kane and Ilaris, you pick up on this too, perhaps a few minutes after Alsana. But there's this strange sensation as if somebody's watching. You peek outside into the hallway, but nobody's out there. You look around with the lantern, but there's no scrying sensor in the room. It's just kind of that feeling of, what if somebody is behind you? What if somebody is following you or looking in on you or listening to you?
Kane's gonna check the wall for holes.
Go ahead and investigation check.
Alright. Just 1 second, I gotta switch out of edit mode. I'm not very good at this, so hopefully it goes well. Oh, sorry, I have it to self, it's 14.
Alright, 14. You check the wall for holes. There are some ridges and some strata in there, but you don't come across anything like a peephole or a spy hole. At least not in this room that you're all gathered in. If you check the room next to you, you might find that there's a little bit of like a thin fault line crack in one of the strata, but it's not like a gap that anyone would be able to like see or hear through.
I'll just look to Alsana and like, can you dip into the other place you go to
I'm
sometimes?
working on
Check
it. 1 second.
Alright.
2 minutes later, Alsana, you complete your commune with nature. What questions would you like to ask?
Powerful undead.
Okay. Remind me, is there a different
Yes,
range
underground
on
it
it?
is 300 feet.
300 feet. Powerful undead within 300 feet. Okay. The commune comes back with nothing. No powerful undead within that radius.
Elementals.
The commune comes back with maybe the faint blip of what you might recognize as Genasi energy. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 Genasi among the resistance, but no elementals.
Alright. And she wants to check terrain
Mhm.
within 300 feet. She wants to get a detailed map, and if there's any caves or open air anywhere that isn't connected to the main like hallways.
Mhm. Alright. You get a pretty detailed map in a 300-foot, basically, sphere around you as you look beneath, above, to all the sides. You get a 300-foot radius map of the cavern system, of the various rooms and tunnels. Much like Calda, you know how to get from here to those main areas. There are occasional like fault lines, cracks, little pockets of air, or occasionally even some water here and there, just embedded in the rock. Most of them are fairly small, but you can see how this mountain, this area might have something of a penchant for instability. Um, However, perhaps most notably is there is an area about 50 or so feet behind those back walls of these rooms where it does open up into something of another cave system. Potentially an area they could expand to if they ever needed to or wanted to through those walls.
Okay. 50 feet, you said? And we're like, how far does it go past that?
Uh, The immediate cave that you sense goes past it perhaps another 50 to 60 feet. But there are tunnels that kind of wind and snake throughout beyond that. Some of them dead end. There are various pockets again in walls. There's a little trickle flow of water way down deep that you can sense. But you do pick up on there is at least one, maybe two winding areas, connections of tunnels, caves, perhaps a few thinner walls between some of them. And it does continue on beyond your 300-foot sense.
Someone blinks open, just like knocks on the lightly on the stone wall on one side. There's some cave, something that goes further. Some sort of system, natural. 50 feet through this wall. As for the other one, anything scary nearby in it? And she shakes her head. Nothing undead, nothing elemental. I could check others, but it might take a bit. In the meantime, Pass of the Dead.
All right.
Before she does, she's like, I might be giving a walk around. I might be a while.
Okay.
If I'm not back within an hour, there's cause for alarm.
If you're not back for a while, what do we do about it?
Start investigating. I won't leave this area.
Willingly. Alright.
And if the spell ends, then I will end up somewhere.
Okay,
Usually,
that'll do it,
magic has a penchant for shunting you out of walls, but also taking some physical retribution from reality. Anytime I'd like.
Well, don't die. Don't get captured either, or some stupid shit like that.
We'll see.
Okay. So, you cast etherealness over yourself. You fade entirely into that weird, misty in-between state. So, with etherealness, are you purely on the ethereal, or do you have the border ethereal as well?
Step into the border regions of the ethereal plane,
Okay.
in the area where it overlaps with your current plane.
Mhm.
You remain in the border ethereal for the duration.
I think technically the border ethereal is where you can see a ghost. So let me go ahead and double check that. I believe that you can see everything there. I just want to see if you can be seen real quick, because I remind myself it's been a while since I've actually flavored anything like that. You usually just go and talk to Xanthus.
Mhm.
So let's see. Border ethereal. Traveler can see into whatever plane it overlaps, but that plane appears muted and indistinct. Distorted and frosted glass. Can't see anything beyond 30 feet into the other plane. You can't attack creatures on the overlap, and they can't attack you. Ah, Traveler on the ethereal plane is invisible and utterly silent to someone on the overlapped plane. Okay. Also, you disobey the laws of gravity. You can move up and down as well as easily as walking. So,
I love that part of that.
yep. So, Alsana just disappears from view and cannot be seen or heard. Alsana, you see everybody else in the room. And about 10 seconds after you stepped into the border ethereal, Sigwald kind of comes to the door with a couple of trays balanced on his arms and just shouts, "Knock, knock! Coming in, food!
Get outside.
All right! We got the
I'll keep you safe.
blankets!
It's appreciated. We'll gather it up once
Okay.
we're gone.
Well, need anything? Come find one of us.
Sure, no disturbances out there?
I mean, it's like kids on days of gifts and festivals out there.
So, nothing dangerous.
You'd think we'd brought a bunch of candy into an orphanage. The weapons are going over great. Anyhow.
Good.
Catch you later.
Later.
They set down the food and the blankets and furs, a big ol' heap of them, and they head back. So the rest of you are free to eat some dinner, make yourselves comfortable, whatever you'd like to. Alsana, I have an assumption, but where are you going?
She's first going to give a look out the door and things.
Okay. Yep, you see Myra and Sigwald heading back down the tunnel, kind of talking together. Doesn't seem to be anything of importance. They disappear from your 30-foot view relatively quickly. You see 4 steaming bowls of some kind of, maybe a curry. It looks like there's some sort of rice sauce, various chunks of what might be meat or various vegetables. It's a little hard to tell as the sauce is thick and coats it all pretty evenly. There's the promised supplies for bedding. Not much else. At least not in this vicinity.
She's going to give a quick run around. Conceivably with the broom.
Okay.
Just to give her
it
that
doesn't have
extra
much
10 feet.
effect, but you just kind of across through various walls.
Yep, just the area that's being traversed by people mainly.
Okay. Yeah. You see a fair number of people of, it looks like a number of walks of life and backgrounds. Most of them seem to be in the fairly younger range of their various races. You would guess young adulthood, middle adulthood for most of them. You don't really come across any very elderly or any children. This base, this organization, it's focused. It's not a family affair. You get a look around, and sure enough, they are unpacking various crates that you brought. There seems to be some effort at categorization, but there's also a lot of, ooh, dibs, and then arguing over who calls dibs, whether dibs counts. You pass by what seems to be the area that's been used as kitchens. A number of fireplaces, some fairly cleverly crafted chimney chutes up through the rock. The great big pots of boiled and now strained rice and the sauce and fixings mixture in another. It looks like they're mostly depleted. It seems that dinner is either well underway or close to ending by now.
Oh goodness, they have no oregano. These poor people. She will float back to the room
Mhm.
and head through that 50 foot of stone.
All right. You just kind of through it. You pick up on a little bit of that fault line crack that Kane had seen before. It does seem to pass through the stone. And it almost looks like in this area there was perhaps that fault might have broken under strain at some point. In the area beyond, you find yourself in the cavern system that you had sensed. There's not much in the way of light. You're mostly seeing by that faint mistiness of the border ethereal at this
She'll
point.
do a produce flame.
Alright. The mist takes on an orange hue, but it doesn't extend your vision any further than that 30 feet.
Okay. Just if
You're
she
able
can
to
see
go
things better within that 30 feet.
Yep. It looks like a very rough and natural cave at this point. And you know from what you sensed out to that 300 feet, that continues to be true. You have some ideas for a fairly direct route, as with the border ethereal and the speed of the broom, you might not have to follow the twists and turns of the caverns and the tunnels itself, and you can basically just poof right through some of the more physical, solid barriers that might be in the way. So, as you reach the 300-foot mark, how much further do you want to explore?
She'll press on a bit more.
Okay.
Another 100 feet.
Alright.
She'll also
We-
flick on her glasses.
Mm-hmm. You press onward. And at this point, you don't have that knowledge of there is an open space just beyond this wall. So you might start to wind along the tunnels just a bit more. But they continue onward for that other 100 feet. And even in this border ethereal, you can feel that prickle at the back of your neck. Like something is behind you, but every time you look, nothing is there. Not in the ethereal, not in the material. It's just a feeling.
Can Alsana think to herself? Can she do maybe Arcana, maybe history, nature, religion? All of them are similar things. To figure out if she's heard of any, like, area effects that can cause that kind of paranoid feeling.
Okay.
Any creatures with layer effects?
Go ahead and do an Arcana check.
Ah, 14.
Okay. Alright, you're not able to think of anything specific, but you're fairly certain this is at least magical, and it does seem to blanket the entire area. It's not getting any weaker or stronger. It's not something with a locus that it radiates out from what you can feel, at least. Basically, if it has a source, you're not able to parse it out with what you have right now.
Alright. She's going to give. Does it persist? Was it persisting when she like went to the other parts, like the tension in that.
You actually didn't really feel that in the more populated areas of the caverns.
Can
It was-
she give a float around there?
Float around where you are right now, or back
Uh,
in the...
Back towards the populated areas.
Okay.
She
You turn
wants.
around
She
at
wants to.
that.
She wants to do basically a perimeter.
Mhm.
And she wants to see if it starts to, and she'll like go out a bit further into the rock if she has to.
Okay.
She wants to see if that feeling persists and if it's a area, like basically what the border of it is, roughly.
All right. Well, the border, roughly. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check
Sure.
for thoroughness.
Would she have advantage on this at all from the glasses, or?
I'll say no, it's not sight-based.
Mhm.
So it'd be a standard investigation.
25.
Okay. Yeah, you get a pretty good idea that that the area, the rooms that you guys are in, seems to be right on the edge of whatever this effect is. Like just barely on that edge, just enough to get that start of a creeping feeling, that sensation. But once you go like even just a little distance beyond there, down the tunnels, it very quickly fades away into nothing. And everything feels as normal.
Tunnels like into the populated areas.
Into the populated areas, yes.
Can you tell if it's like a radius around it? Like if she goes far enough past those areas, does it return?
No, it doesn't seem to, no. It's almost more as if it was circular or a sphere or something like that, it's as if you were on the very border of that sphere and then it goes deeper into the mountain. Whereas the main bulk of the Resistance's base is just outside of the sphere, bordering on it, but mostly outside of it.
Okay.
And so they don't feel those effects.
Okay. I'm gonna try some goofy magic shit.
Good. Goofy magic shit is a wonderful, wonderful thing to get to try.
Yep.
At this point, after all of the flying around and back and forth, you might be coming a little close to that 1 hour.
She will return to the group.
Okay. So,
She'll just
if
give
you're
just in the area. She'll go in the area that like it still is.
Mhm.
And she'll just give a close to her eyes and an extra good listen for anything that might be saying anything.
okay. You hear silence.
Dead
There is
silence.
nothing beyond there that you can pick up on right now.
Okay. And Alsana will return to the group.
Kane just nods and slides your plate of food over to you.
Did you find anything useful?
Yes and no, and that's the worst thing. We're on the edge of it. Whatever influence it is, whatever influence it's having, it's a tarp, it's emitting outwards.
Outwards
Aboleth Murphy's
towards the-
DC, check an Aboleth. Like, go look up an Aboleth sheet.
Sure. Is it? Are we on the edge of the outer edge or the inner edge? Like, are we?
She'll like draw a map of like what she figured out, just to keep everyone up to date. Like just on the dirt in the ground.
Oh, that's odd.
It goes further in.
You
Oh,
can't
so
triangulate it just by the radius, can you?
roughly, but I would have no idea how far the radius goes and if it's even perfectly circular.
So did it get like worse the further you went? Like you were finding a center point?
Or did she figure that out? Because she
No,
was like going around
you-
everything.
You don't even have a radius. It was too vast.
Shank said it was equal, but we're on the edge of it, but it's not intensifying as you go further in. At least not from this distance. It's just consistent. There's always shreds of truth to it. I'm sure. Myra did her best to investigate this area, and by all rights, she is right. There is nothing here, but it's not to say nothing is influencing here, much further off. I'm wanting to try something a bit odd.
What are you thinking?
I want to get in touch specifically with the nature of the earth here.
Oh.
When I commune with nature, being underground can limit its range. There's less nature to feel.
Makes sense. Earth is nature, but I guess not the same way.
It's not as living. You can't feel its emotions or things as much. Not to say it's not there, just much more obtuse. To that end, I'd like to try to maybe have a interpreter. Alsana is going to try to, and if this goes wrong, I'll need your help dealing with it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Alsana is going to.
Should we do it in the place we're sleeping or no?
I'd rather here. We can't really go much further. Alsana is going to cast Conjure Elemental.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
All right. Go ahead
Also,
and
I'm
roll
thinking it like,
that
oh, well, that's what she means.
D100.
Two of them.
48.
We want to.
All right. You cast the spell successfully without any strange surges or
I'll
effects.
take it. She summons a Earth Elemental.
All right. How big is an earth elemental?
Large.
Large.
Sick.
That room is okay. It fits, but
He can be in the wall a bit.
It's
He has
tight.
Earth Glide.
Yeah. It's these can be hanging out.
So you kind of with this earth elemental out of the wall of stone and then slightly back into it as it hunkers down and looks at you. Kind of humming almost, just a steady drone.
I'm going to need your help. I need a much better understanding of this area at large. I would like to try to have you help me cast some magic.
Alright, interesting. The drone rises slightly. Perhaps an interest. You speak primordial, yes?
Yes. I believe... Let me check.
Double check that.
She does not currently.
Who does?
But real quick. She'll just slap
We
a
have the
comprehend language on herself.
It's concentration, you lose it.
No,
We
it
have the
isn't.
helmet. Fine.
The helm. No wait.
Comprehend
for a
language
campaign?
isn't concentration.
It is.
No, it's not. It's 1 hour.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's not- Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
comprehend language.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Alright. You comprehend, and is the elemental able to comprehend you?
I'm not certain, but it
That's
does
what-
understand my commands.
That's what
Okay.
tongues is for, at least.
Alright, so the elemental understands your commands, though perhaps not your nuance, we'll see. And you can understand the earth elemental as the drone resolves not into words, but into a sense of ready and waiting.
Alright.
Tell me what you need.
She would like to try. She would like to try to co-cast commune with nature with this thing.
Alright. Commune with nature is that concentration? It's not.
It's
pretty
not.
instantaneous, isn't it?
It is a minute casting time, but it's instantaneous.
But if you are ritual casting, it does take
I'm
concentration.
not ritual casting.
Yeah, just letting you know.
Alright, so regular casting of commune with nature
I'll
through the
do.
earth elemental.
Would it affect anything if I did a 7th level casting?
Huh. I was going to ask you for a spellcasting check.
Mhm.
I'll say that 7th level both reduces the DC and gives you advantage. So much better odds.
All right. On that note, then, what would 8th level give me?
Not that much better, to be honest. Let's just
Okay.
stick with 7.
Fair enough. All right, advantage spellcasting check.
Mm-hmm.
So that would just be wisdom then.
Yes. Still beat the DC because it was lowered.
Okay.
Alright. That upcast. Okay. So, it's difficult to connect. Your magic doesn't want to do this thing you're trying to get it to do. It takes convincing.
Mm.
But you manage to find that link, that seemingly obvious, but to the fabric of magic itself, not as apparent connection between scouring nature, scouring the earth on the material plane, using a creature of pure elemental earth. They're different planes. The energy doesn't quite sync at first, but then you find that sweet spot. You hook it up, and you channel it through. 3 more questions, but this time with a greater radius.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Are the same questions required, or was it?
Any questions?
And any questions within
from-
community of nature?
Yes. Yep.
No, that's what I meant. So only community nature questions. Gotcha.
Mm.
Influence from other planes of existence.
All right. There's a hum as you do get the bright spot of the elemental plane right next to you. And then further down, not an influence of another plane of existence, but something that almost belongs as much to another plane as to this one, in a strange and twisted way. Something that is not where it should be. Something other, something that doesn't seem like it should be in the earth, not in the earth at this level. It should be either so deep in the earth that it's practically in the stars.
That's practically in the stars.
There's a bit of confusion in the planar sense of this. Something that is both deep and far, deep and high. But it's too in between. It's too shallow. It's not fully out of place. There's room for this on the material plane. But the room for it isn't as close as it is. It should be of the Underdark, or it should be of the Outer Planes.
Yep.
One or the other. But it's not. It's caught in the stone.
Oh, another one of you just fell through the wrong portal. Of the Underdark. Well, I don't. Knowing that, I Celestial Fae, Fiend, Elemental, or Undead probably doesn't cover it.
Probably not. I mean, Faye.
Fae is possible if it's
Aberration.
anything to do with, but yeah, I'm thinking aberration.
Yeah, aberration. I guess you can't do monstrosity, can you?
No.
Thanks, bitch.
I'm gonna try terrain,
Alright.
and I'm gonna try to look for something stuck in stone.
Senta.
Sorry.
Okay, stuck in stone is a bit of a
Sneezed.
complexity. Is there a question in the spell that would relate to that? that you might be
Instantly
thinking?
gain knowledge of terrain and bodies of water.
Okay. Alright. You gain knowledge of the various winding and networked cave and cavern system far beyond where your original sense was. And you feel this strange sensation as the caverns miles beneath you, miles into the heart of the mountain, starts to open up and almost takes on strange shapes. There is some water flowing through it. You don't come across anything that is embedded in any stone, but there is a pretty clear sense of there's an open space down there. There's an open space down there larger than any of the others that you've sensed.
How does the space feel like it was made? Is it natural?
I believe that's another question.
Okay. I guess that would. Yeah. I guess would that be under like buildings?
That's kind of how I would parse it, because there's this implied difference between the building and construction and like nature carved by a river, or
Yeah. Yeah. Then she'll do like buildings in that sense of just non-natural terrain and like construction.
okay. Right around the area where it opens up, you start to sense the idea of deliberate roads, paths, long since crumbled and worn into some semblance of ruin, but there was a construction there. And within that open space, you feel the shaped and carved angles and curves of buildings. You get the sense of this being about 4 to 5 miles, as amplified by this elemental.
Also, I'm just blinks like. There's a city 5 miles down.
What the fuck?
Or a town or some sort of building.
Is there any open way from here to get down there, or do we have to like
With her knowledge of the
carve
terrain and
through?
that.
There is the immediate wall, 50 feet, and there's like 2 other areas, but nothing any heavier than a between 5 and 10 foot carving.
I mean, if you know the location, theoretically, can't you grind it, or do you have to see it?
Good question. Ariel?
Let me check the text of
If
Scry.
it's in the spell, I can just never remember.
Yeah.
That's
I
like
know
the
you
last
can
part.
try a location. There might be one of those things where it alters the DC a little bit. I'm not sure. Let me
Instead
check.
of targeting a creature, you can choose a location you have seen before as the target of this spell.
How
All
much
right.
kind of scene?
Vibes count as sight.
This is the equivalent of tremor sense, isn't it? Technically,
Hmm.
it's just a one really large tremor sense.
It's like the thing of she's technically seeing it, but more from a if she was blind sort of thing.
Yeah, it's still perceptually seeing.
To be fair,
Honestly-
yes, going through the earth elemental, it has tremor sense. So I don't know how that would go.
To be fair, yes, but also, I guess that comes down to whether a blind creature in D&D with tremor sense could cast spells that require you to see the target.
You know what? No, I have an easier way to do this.
Legend lore.
Nope. Alright, that was Alsana's 3 questions, right?
Yes.
Alsana
What
looks
was
at...
the range, by the way?
What?
What was the range on that? The radius?
Enough to find the plot.
4 to 5 miles rather than 3. You know that you were sensing much further than you would be able to, even with an unhindered commune with nature.
Cool. You just figured out the terrain of 500 square miles of terrain. Well done.
Alsana's gonna go and command the elemental to go down there.
Okay. The elemental hums with a sense of
And
acknowledgement.
she will also tell it, allow yourself to be taken by any magics that might peer in on you.
There's another hum,
Ah, okay.
and the earth elemental sinks down into the stone.
One other thing, just only
Yes?
peek out. Do not make
The earth
yourself known
elemental-
to any creatures there.
The earth elemental's little head, on top of the rocky bulbous body, kind of whoop, out of the rock, nods, and then right back down.
I like this guy. He seems cool.
Well, let's give him some time to get there. I assume Alsana could estimate the land speed of an earth elemental.
You probably could, and also you have a dinner that's gone slightly cold.
What's the walking speed of it?
30 feet.
30 feet. 3 miles per hour.
Hmm. But no, it's doesn't matter how direct. Hold on 1 second.
That's the DM book thing. If you don't know the actual. Oh, yeah, that's no dashing. Yeah. So.
Thorough 30 feet. If it moves quickly, I'll say that within an hour it gets there, but it nearly is the full hour that you have it summoned.
All right. Alsana will go ahead and scry upon her earth elemental.
Okay. So, no roll required. The Earth Elemental kind of knows what's coming. Let me check one thing. Oh. 1 second.
That's a statement.
Oh, yeah. No, that was the instruction you gave it. So, you scry upon the Earth Elemental. As it kind of lumbers, almost mindlessly, not diving through the ground the way you instructed, but through the broken and ruined streets, sloshing through water, as it goes upon the steps of a stone building and crosses inside. And inside, as your scry sensor follows it, you see a long pillared hall lit with a low reddish purple light with a somewhat angular mosaic upon the floor. And at the far end, what looks like carved from stone, an effigy almost of a skull, but the shape is slightly wrong. It's not quite right. There's no domed top. It's open there. There's what seems to be potentially eye holes, but instead of a nose or teeth or a mouth, there's just this archway, with various more organic shapes flowing carved from it. The Earth Elemental lumbers up into the center of this room and stops there. And then it just stands. And it does nothing. Until, after a couple of minutes of this, it turns around, back towards the entrance, and slowly lumbers its way back out. Into what you then see with a different perspective on your scry is not quite a full city, but certainly something the size of a large town. Of sprawling buildings, a strange mixture of sharply angled corners and flowing, smooth, organic shapes. All carved, it seems, from stone, and shaped from it. There are arching bridges cutting through the middle space of this large cavern. It seems carved with more buildings, other ones kind of crawling and flowing up the walls. The base of this cavern, as the Earth Elemental starts to lumber its way back across, isn't fully flooded, but there are streams, it seems, as water at some point has been redirected to flow through this. You don't see any living things. It seems deserted. Until your scry picks up, in the distance, a loud, shrieking call echoing through the chamber. The Earth Elemental pays it no mind. It continues to lumber back through the city, through the town, until it pushes itself into a wall of stone, starts to travel back, not quite visible to your scry sensor, embedded as it is, though the scry kind of flows into stone and out into the open, trying to follow it. until finally that 1 hour span on your magic starts to falter a little bit, and you know it's close to time for the earth elemental to go. That it's not going to get all the way back to you, even at a dash. And then the scry ends. And a little while after, you feel the elemental fade back into the plane it came from.
By now, Candace might have this whole tower of cards just waiting for it.
Well then,
What's up?
Is it cool?
it was something. There is a town there. It's not a whole city, but it's certainly more than just a few houses. Something I almost want to say. Of note, the elemental strictly didn't do a thing she told it to, right?
The elemental did disregard a couple of the things you told it to.
Actually, no, I know why.
Yeah, concentration sprang, right?
So he was technically hostile.
Yeah.
Still, though, it was. If it was, it would have still gone right back for her.
Not actively hostile to you. It just becomes hostile in general. And if it's 4 miles away from you, then
If your concentration is broken, the elemental doesn't disappear. Instead, you lose control of the elemental. It becomes hostile towards you and your companions, and it might attack.
might.
It can't be dismissed, but it disappears 1 hour after you summon it. DMS the elemental statistics.
So it's
Other-
been an hour, so I think it's gone.
Yep,
Of
other way.
note, he's not immune to charm.
Good to know. Alright, so let's call it a hovel rather than a town, because it's not as big. Or not as small, or whatever.
Not as big as a city. It's like a large town.
It's a village.
Yeah. That's a good word for it. What was there?
And
How the
she
kids-
describes the would you call it like a mausoleum? Not mausoleum. I don't know. What would Olsana call it?
Crypt.
It almost had the feel of a temple.
Temple.
Maybe a crypt if you want.
Sepulchre.
Certainly there wasn't anything living that you could see through the scry. So, though you did hear something in the distance.
Also, there was a horrifying shriek within the darkness.
Great. Amazing.
We all want to go figure out what that is, right?
Quite frankly, I wouldn't want to leave that alone
Okay.
with
once we-
everyone living here.
So, who wants to go raid a crypt?
Now?
Know if it's a crypt, but I also think we should let them know.
Well, of course, but like, shall we? I'm feeling just fine. I got my stuff figured out. I cleaned out the bag. You know how hard it is to get Cecil stains out of the inside of a bag of holding?
Also, like taps on the one wall. If we can get 53 through here, the cave system will take us there.
I'm out of some things for healing, but I think I could do with things I do have.
I have
Alright.
spent quite a lot of magic today, but
This is dicing. I have 2 hit dice.
we could perhaps do it in the morning. We should go let them know. Maybe they'll even send some sort of detachment. I don't know.
Yes, we should. Also, if we're doing
Maybe,
it
yeah.
tomorrow, then yeah, you do druid stuff. You can change the shape of stone, which yes, you can. There's a lot of spells that do that.
Yes,
Um,
I can prepare
think you'll be able
things.
to do that tomorrow.
I think I could definitely prepare for things. If that thing's
Cool.
what I might be theorizing it is, it's something of the Underdark.
Alright. How do you think it'll take necrotic damage?
Probably pretty well.
If it's within its regular lifespan, probably as much as any other living thing. If it's a floating skull, maybe not.
Alright.
It's that place is weirdly constructed. I don't know if there was a area that was just teleported there into the earth, but it was carved out to its. I need to go talk to Mira.
Yep.
More.
If it makes you feel any better, doing it this way, I'll use the poison if it They seem to something that will take poison damage.
Poison is a commonality in the Underdark, but it's worth a try.
Okay. Maybe I'll just use the mucus for that. Actually, they probably don't need to breathe.
Anyways, Alsana's gonna go find Miora.
Myra. Motherfuckers.
I didn't say anything.
I did the whole thing in. So,
Oh, it's fine. You're doing great.
all right. So, you go out, and you do have to ask around a little bit in order to get some directions, but you are directed towards where Myra likely is and find her there. She looks over. Oh, hi. I didn't expect to see one of you out here.
In what range are you assured that there is nothing over by that area?
I trekked over the top of the mountain, and
How about
Investigate.
underneath?
well, as far as these tunnels go, we carved out what we could, but,
Just tell her.
Roughly 5 miles down beneath that area is a village of some sort. In the earth, in the stone.
well, hells.
And about 50 feet from that room we're staying in, through the earth is a cave that would path towards it.
Basically, we're
look-
just polite. We're gonna go beat up anything evil in there and see what it's about.
There's something from the Underdark currently residing within that village. It has a Horfang shriek.
Great. Yeah.
Additionally,
Underdark,
it is creating a magical effect in a range that room is just on the edge of always being watched.
well, that explains why everybody who goes back there swears it's haunted.
There's usually
Huh.
just small strands of truth within those things.
Yeah, well, I checked for all sorts of undead I could think of. Didn't think Underdark. Are you sure Underdark? We're way too high up for that.
That's the problem.
With mines.
At this time of year, the lines between planes can get messy. You might have heard of a number of odd happenings around the map.
Also, more importantly, we've got, if I'm not mistaken, magic quite literally telling us that yes, it is this kind of influence, and regardless of what natural expectations might say, it's a problem, and it's there whether we like it or not. So, we would like to try to potentially resolve that, or at least make it safe for you guys, because if it's reaching out this far with its aura, I can only imagine what its influence is.
And if it just happens to want to wander and expand the village a bit further, suddenly everyone in your group is feeling like there's something breathing down their necks. At best.
And for a group of resistance fighters who keep morale up is already difficult enough, and
Are trying their best to keep secret.
they're trying their best to keep secret.
No,
Bad
yeah,
coordination.
get
Plus,
the
also,
point.
Underdark Outpost. Not a great thing in general. I want to fix it. I want to kill
Yeah.
everything and take its loot. Also, it's got poison. We want more poison.
Well, you definitely seem to have this sorted out.
Yeah, but we will.
Well, concept at least.
Yeah,
I'll
not the first time.
Yeah. So, are you planning on going down there tomorrow? I can have some rations put aside for you.
She
And
nods.
Actually, more of
Alright.
that soup would be fantastic. It was delicious. Thank you.
the
Additionally,
menu changes every day.
if you have any on hand, an extra guard or two for the entrance we're going to make would help.
Yes. Also,
Definitely.
anti-venom.
I have some.
How much?
5 doses?
Let's get a couple more, just in case.
I don't know if they have that on hand.
Do you have the materials to make some if you got some? That was perfect.
We don't have any anti-venom, and frankly, I don't think we have anything that you could make it from.
Hold on. Also, what might be a good general anti-venom? Actually, I can just pull out anti-venom in my bag. What am I talking about?
You
It's
can't
better.
pull consumables.
Oh, I thought it was... Oh, that's right.
Um,
Can I pull out ingredients?
I'm gonna say that is walking the line on no.
Walking in the line in a way that the GM makes the GM want to say nah.
That is
It's,
why I asked.
it's very specifically the difference between can I pull a salad out of my bag versus can I pull a head of lettuce, both or no.
That's fair. Unless it was a bag of botany. Anyways,
Yep. I gave you. Okay. I know I said before that I passed some of those out, right? Like earlier this
Of what?
session.
anti-venom?
Yes.
If you
No.
did, if you did, I
Oh.
didn't get that.
I don't think you mentioned antivenom, you mentioned a lot of poisons.
Potions of
There was
poison
that's
immunity
fine.
and condition for 1 hour.
Ah,
It's
not
what I said.
antivenom. Different thing.
You haven't handed them out. You said you
Yeah.
had them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have 3.
Probably because I think Kane said he was okay with poison.
I'm okay with poison. Although you can end poison effects on yourself, can't you?
I can.
I can end diseases.
It doesn't 5.
But it gives
Don't
immunity
handle-
to the damage as well.
That's true.
Oh yeah, neutralizes multiple poisons with a single. Yeah, 5. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
okay.
know what my own stuff does. Yes, thank you.
You have a lot of stuff, to be fair. I just have different ways to hit things. So, yeah. I mean, again, Kane can take damage. Like I'm not too worried about it.
Okay.
I'd say the best bet is probably like Menelaris.
Yeah, you Alaris, and maybe one on Calder just in case we want to use the bonus action to save the action. That way she can heal herself and someone else.
Maybe we do this out of session
Yep,
Yes.
that's fair.
in the
Good call.
chat. So, Myra would agree to spread the word, let Dren and the others know, and set up a guard shift on those rooms for tomorrow morning after you leave. They will bring you some breakfast, some rations just in case, and pretty much if you don't come back in, what would you say, a day?
Yeah,
We
that's fine.
don't send word within a day.
Alright.
You want me to send word?
I could throw an elemental their way.
Can we just give them a sending stone?
That works.
I keep forgetting we have those.
Fuck.
Every time Ty says it, I'm like, right, duh.
Yep. So also
Alright.
I'll hand the sending
I
stone
think I
to
put it up every week.
Myra.
Myra takes it, and right, I'll be waiting. Keep track of time as best you can down there.
I think I have a watch or something.
If you don't send word to us within a day, I'll send word to you through this.
Mm,
Actually, I'll use my own spells. I'll check in on it when it's starting to get close. If you don't answer, none of you answer, then I'm gonna have to close this off.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Do it, please. Because it's fucking us over. Yeah, I don't want there to be a path to you guys.
Right. Well, I'd say sleep well, but this is gonna keep me awake.
Oh. No, we'll sleep pretty well.
I usually just don't worry about it.
Okay. If there's anything else, let me
Could
know.
could we maybe get a room slightly out of its range?
Yeah,
Huh.
just a little bit.
Yeah, we can put you in with others if that's gonna be better.
I mean, I can
Give
pitch
this
a- we can-
triangle.
I can pitch a tent. It's fine.
All right.
To be clear, that's not a metaphor. I have a tent.
Well, figure that out. Just come on, let's find some space for you somewhere.
Also, can I just go say thank you to the chef again? Fantastic dinner.
We do it in shifts. I can find the ones who are on kitchen duty.
Sounds good. Anyways, bigger priorities.
All right, so you guys find a space further into the resistance headquarters. Pitch a tent so that you are shielded from the outside. I'm guessing
Doesn't hurt.
it's a little awkward, but I think you can generally make it
I mean,
work.
could we not just like open the tent and just make it a divider?
Probably.
Like-
pitting it.
We can
Make
use
it
both
all.
of our tents because we have 2 of them too.
Okay. Yep. You make yourself a little screen, and you settle down for the night. And that, I think, is where we're going to end this session and pick up next time.
Side quest, side quest.
Side quest, side quest, side quest. I hope it's side quest. Otherwise, we just stumbled our way into a fantastic main plot quest.
This is why we started Harvest Dawn in July.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we're gonna get to loot the shit out of an underground Underdark temple.
Also,
Yeah.
hey, we'll wander there. It's like, oh, hey, Lady of the Plains Corpse, nice to meet you. Stab.
That'd be cool.
Dude, it'd be funny.
So let's pull a Richter and just counterspell her shit back into another realm.
Alternatively, like Miroslav is like, aha, I will teleport towards them and scare the shit out of them, and Beholder bites her head off.
That'd be really funny.
Right, well, till next time.
Till next time.
Okay.